Welcome everybody, my name is Michael and today we are celebrating Bitcoin's birthday. Officially it is January 3rd, we're running into January 4th, and on 2009, January 3rd, Bitcoin was officially released. So let us take a look back at Bitcoin's history and its timeline because there's a few very important dates. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to go way back before 2009, before the 2008 crash, the recession, which a lot of people believe was Satoshi Nakamoto's motivation for creating Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. January 3rd is an important date. However, October 31st, Halloween, is also another important date. On October 31st, 2008, the year before 2009, Satoshi's paper Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, was released. It has his email and bitcoin.org, where he is under the moniker Satoshi. What's also important to note is last month we discussed on Kubera how it has been officially over 1 decade since Satoshi Nakamoto has gone missing. It's not long, it's officially 8 pages, with the 9th being a reference, works cited page. But in it, he discusses Bitcoin and why he created, how it works, the mathematic formula, the calculations he has done, the privacy aspect of cryptocurrency, and it suddenly hooked in a lot of people. The main people who were interested in this, though, were programmers, at least in the very early stages. So Bitcoin's timeline starts actually in 1982 to 1997. This period specifically is when eCash came about. Now, this whole idea was published back in the 80s by a computer scientist named David Chaum. He first proposed this concept. His paper was titled Blind Signatures for Untraceable Payments, and it discussed cryptography that's under an automated system that third parties wouldn't be able to see into. This automated payment system was very important. It inspired what came about later. In 1990, DigiCash was created by David Chaum. He tried to put his idea to work, but the idea never caught on and DigiCash went bankrupt, so that's why we've never really heard about it. But other cypherpunks came about, and in 1997, people who were inspired by Chaum, a particular bright guy named Adam Back, invented Hashcash. It was a POW system, proof of work, that would prove very, very similar to what Bitcoin's currently using. In 1998, Mr. Y. Day released an essay titling his idea for B-Money, a cryptocurrency whose exchange reads similarly to what blockchain Bitcoin uses and has become. That same year, Nick Szabo, one of the first people in Satoshi Nakamoto's circle, came out with a very similar proposal named BitGold. Neither of those proposals came to fruition, though, and that leads us to 2008. As we all remember, there was a huge crisis that first started in America and then spread throughout the entire world. Billions and billions of dollars were lost within a few hours. Thousands of people lost their jobs that very same day. Companies that have been around on Wall Street for 200 plus years, these institutional investors suddenly went bankrupt out of nowhere. AIG was looked at, Lehman Brothers, there was a bunch of other companies, but some fell, some were helped by the government, and Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto probably was not very happy with what was going on. Now, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. It could be an individual, it could be a group, and they could be deceased today. We don't even know if Satoshi is a guy or a girl. Most likely a guy, but there's no way to know. On January 3rd, the first Genesis block was mined, and this is why it's Bitcoin's birthday. It's the first time it was launched, it officially came out, and by January 9th, the first iteration of Bitcoin software was released. On January 12th, the first ever Bitcoin transaction occurred when Satoshi Nakamoto sent 10 BTC to Hal Finney. He was a very notable programmer. And by the end of the year, the New Liberty Standard released the first Bitcoin exchange rate, deeming $1 at that time would have bought you 1,309 Bitcoin. 1,309.03 Bitcoin. Currently, Bitcoin today has surpassed $34,000, actually $34,608, which is, as of now, the all-time high it has ever been. The total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies almost hit $890 billion, very close to $1 trillion. Over the past few months, a lot of institutional investors started buying billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and some of these institutions, such as Citibank, have published a report that states by the end of 2021, by the end of this year, Bitcoin on the low end might hit $100,000, and on the high end, it could be $300,000. Meaning from this point, it would be almost 10x. Now in 2010, the first actual purchase of Bitcoins occurred. Laszlo Hanyecz sent 10,000 Bitcoin to a London man in exchange for 2 Bitcoin pizzas. It was valued at a total of $25 at the time, and now we remember it as Bitcoin Pizza Day. It valued Bitcoin as a fraction of a penny back then. A couple of months later, Bitcoin broke that penny threshold. And in 2010, the first Bitcoin exchanges started popping up. One of them was the infamous Mt. Gox in July with its CEO, Mark Karpelès. It wasn't actually created by Mark Karpelès. Mark Karpelès bought Mt. Gox later. By November of 2010, the market cap of Bitcoin surpassed $1 million for the first time. And by 2011, Bitcoin hit the $1 threshold. Later on, there would be some issues with Mt. Gox and going onto the darker side of the internet. But as we all know, a few years later, Ethereum came about, altcoins started becoming a huge craze, and then we had 2017, where Bitcoin really became a crazy phenomenon. A lot of people wanted to invest in it, and here we are at the very beginning of 2021. So what do you think about Bitcoin? Where do you think it will go? That is a short timeline of Bitcoin. Happy birthday, Bitcoin. And this was your host, Michael Holovich. Thank you for joining in today. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And we have hit also a first marker for this channel. It's my first personal brand name channel ever. And we've hit over 100 subscribers. So thank you. And we shall see you in the next video. Bye.